In this video, I'll be reviewing the Measure and Create feature. Give it a moment to load the farm, and it will show this 3D model. Now, within this 3D model, you can control it here, so you can zoom in and out, you can drag it, and you can rotate it. Now, once you have this model available and can see and interact with it, you'll have some controls over here. We have Measure, Label, and Create. Measure, it's pretty straightforward. We have three options of length, surface, which is face, surface area, and then volume. So you want to just click around that face and then double click when you're done. And then click on the area within that you just selected, and you'll see the face surface area and the perimeter. Finally, we have measure volume. That works very similar to the face surface area, but you'll want to put the points on the ground around the pile. Make sure you get that as close as possible because that will get a better capture of the slope of the ground underneath the pile. So let's say we want to measure this segment right here and see how many tons are there. First, how much volume, and then how many tons are there. You select around, then you click on that highlighted area that we just created. You'll see a number of dimensions here, some important ones, slope and height, that are all automatically calculated. And then you want to know the number of tons in here. We just go and we take that density of the feed, enter that in, and then those tons will automatically calculate and show. So we've got around 4,000 tons in this part of the pile. If you want to hide any of these measurements, you can just go up to this and click that little eye icon, and that will hide them or show them. If you want to delete them, you can also just hit this little trash icon, and that will delete them out of there. Now, label, very straightforward. You just click on label, find the area that you want to note, and then you place the label where you want it, and you can rename it. You can also drag this around, and once you click on this, you can remove it. Finally, we have Create. There's a number of options within Create. We can do a trapezoidal pile, rounded pile, and smart piles coming soon. And then we have a 2-wall, 3-wall, and 4-wall block. Let's create a rounded pile. Say we want to put that right over here. So you select 4 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the fourth, it will automatically close and then calculate. Give it a moment to load and calculate that. And now we have a rounded pile. Within this rounded pile, there's a number of things you can do to customize how you do it. First is that we can change the slope. It automatically defaults to a 3-to-1 slope. We can increase or decrease that slope. We can also change the height of the pile by kind of pulling this vertical reference up and down. Sometimes you have to kind of look at it adjacent, look at it from the side, and then that will automatically pop up. When you're looking straight down on it, it disappears. Again, you just hold that onto that and drag up and down. Now, if you want to change the edges, you can just click on that edge and drag that to another place and resize the pile if needed. You can also create different colors and also transparencies on these piles. If you want to color, let's say, haylage one color and corn silage another, or if you want to say this is stage 1 of harvest or stage 2 of harvest, you just click on this little color circle, color wheel, and then this transparency button will hide or essentially lower the transparency so that you can't see objects within the pile. But if you want to see objects within the pile, you just click that, and then you can kind of see that semi-transparent through there. Now, finally, we have much of the volume and ton measurement. We have the ability to enter in density and then calculate the number of tons. Anytime you add something like this, or the height, or any parameter on here that would change the volume, we need to click update. That will recalculate that initial volume. And once that's done, we can put in the density. and then measure the total tons within that pile. There's a few volume measurements here. I'll explain each one of these. And there is a little information icon hover that will show you what that means. The cut volume is essentially any objects or ground or anything within this pile. Let's see, say you put this up against another pile. It's because you're going to overlap these piles. The cut pile is essentially the value of the feed or whatever objects or ground or anything contained within the base profile of these 4 points and within this pile itself. And that will be the cut volume. Think of it, what you have to cut out of the pile to make that pile whole. The fill volume is the opposite of that. Essentially, any empty volume within this pile is the fill volume. So what you'd have to fill in there in addition to that cut volume to make it the total volume. And then finally, we have our shape volume. And that's just going to be probably the one you'll use the most. It's essentially just all the volume within this shape, and it's the value used to create the number of tons, to measure the number of tons. Down here you'll see tire and cover. This is under development, but that will be available soon. And it'll show you the optimal number of plastic sheets, size of the sheets, and tires that you'll need. For all of these, you can rename them. You just go up here and you can type in custom name, and then you can also, you'll see that update right here and here, and then you can also just delete it through this legend panel or within the side panel as well. Something unique about bunks, create a 3-wall bunk. Let's say we want to put one right here. A few more options on the bunk selection. Again, you can change the slope. The slope will only impact that kind of face slope up. And then you can also choose the slope side. Fortunately, in this situation, it kind of adjusted that face to the correct side. But if you want to change that side, you can just click these and it'll just change to whichever end or side that you selected. There's also this overfill option. Right now, the default bunk has a completely flat top, and oftentimes that's not realistic. We've added in this overfill section to say there's about a rounded amount. We expect a rounded amount to a certain height above this pile. In this case, let's just do 5. And then you can see this rounded or this curved top that is a little bit more representative of how a lot of bunks are made, just to get that approximation of volume as closely as possible to what you're expecting. Any changes you make, you just hit save and then update, and then all of that data will be updated.